Very good afternoon to everyone, and welcome to the Expert Chat. And today we are on the fifth week of the Expert Chat. So far, I believe we have covered the right things, like, we covered with humanities, covered with commerce, we covered with ICT, we covered with, the careers at various junctures wherein we are planning to bring various things into the place so that every one of you can get benefited. Well, as said, the NCCN Career Charts is an outcome of various questions that NCCN has received from the career guidance people as well as from the students' parents. So we decided that every week we'll bring an expert with you, and they will converse with either of the career mentors, either with me or Kavita, and we will ensure that we are probing the maximum questions from them so that it can help you to take a career guidance into the next level. Well, to bring you an insight that our career experts, whosoever have come so far or who are going to be scheduled so far, they are the people who are the experts in their field, either from the industry, either for the professional domain, and they give you an insight about that how careers should be navigated. Like, for example, last week we had a session with Mr. Pratmesh who spoke about BCom or the commerce career. Prior to that, Sanjeev Gupta was there who spoke about ICT. And before that, we had other people who have spoken about either humanities or other careers, which can actually help you to navigate better that how whether it is an appropriate time to take the careers into those professions or into that function or not to take, with what is trending, what is not trending, what is getting obsolete. And just to give you an insight, of course, we will be introducing our expert for today. But as you know, the cyber security is a biggest concern today. The moment we have got the lockdown, the moment everyone has come online, the cyber threats have started. And in most of the movies, they are saying that cyber war can also actually take place. That's the reason why we decided that this week we'll bring an expert who is a cyber law consultant, and he's a techno legal guy who would actually explain you about what is the career in cyber security and how the things are going to roll out in future. To converse with him, we will have our NCCN career mentor, who's Kavita Rai, who is the associate editor for the Career Beacon, Joint Secretary for National Career Counselors Network, and the co-founder for Concept. She is a counseling psychologist with a project management background, and she is MA in psychology during her sabbatical. So that shows that you can take a career leap even if when you have taken a sabbatical, no matter what you have done in your young age, what you have studied. But if you have a desire to pursue any particular career and help you on any of the career things, then Kavita is the right example. She is writing a couple of columns. She is a member of Stop Today, wherein she helps the youth to ensure that they are addiction free, and she is stopping the addiction now and every now. So that's the way how Kavita has rolled up. And she is a mom of two young, beautiful sons who are in 10th and 11th and 12th. Sorry. So again, a mom who is of high school students. So that she also undergoes, she empathizes with all the students that what is undergoing at this moment of time. There is a confusion, there is an ambiguity, there is a unclarity about the things. So this week we have Mr. Sai Sushant, who is a cyber law expert and a legal consultant. He is a CEO of Sushant IT Associate. He's based out of Hyderabad. He holds a master degree in cyber law and cyber security from National Law University, Jodhpur. He advises the clients across the globe on the intersection of law and technology. Who other than him can be a cyber security expert to actually navigate you that what careers the people should take after 12th or after 10th or during the graduation, that they can enter into the cyber thing. And just to inform you, he is the best cyber lawyer in 2019 by India Legal. And now I welcome Ms. Kavita Rai, who is the counseling psychologist and the joint secretary for the National Career Counselors Network, who will be probing deep with Sai Sushant on the cyber law things. Unfortunately, Sushant has actually had a small accident yesterday, due to which he ruptures his facial skin. So that's the reason why he would not be available on video, but yes, you can see him as his picture, and of course, you can hear his voice. First of all, thank you so much, Sushant, with lots of pain also, but you managed to actually join this session. So welcome, Sushant. Welcome, Kavita. Floor is yours.
Sunanda. Uh, a very good evening to everyone, and welcome to our expert chat session. And today we have, as Sunanda has mentioned, Advocate Sai Sushant. And yes, we are in today's techno-savvy environment. The world is becoming more digitally sophisticated with e-commerce, e-business, e-governance, e-procedure. Talk about anything, everything is on internet. And with that, there's an increase in cyber attacks and cyber crimes. As the number of internet users have risen, and in the COVID session, as the COVID pushed us to the technology, it has enormously grown. So there is a need for cyber law and cyber security experts. And in this highly digitized world, almost everything nowadays, every now and then, we get to hear about cyber crimes and cyber attacks. And the biggest, there's a research that was done by the Information System Audit and Control Association, ISACA, in the past years. And they say 59% of organizations worldwide have vacant cyber security position. And it is going to be one of the driving factor for the futuristic careers. That's why we brought this session, and we had a very short session with Advocate Sai Sushant earlier. And we had a lot of students calling that we want to have a detailed session about the career path, how we can enter, what are the different ways we can venture into the career of cyber law or cyber security. So welcome, Sushant. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much. And then I first of all thank Kavita as well as the organizers of this session once again, because we had two wonderful sessions scheduled during the lockdown, and then now coming back on an exclusive front is even more fascinating. I think I can tell you one thing during this lockdown before I get started with my presentation. When I was just looking at a report from an organization, every 14 seconds there is a cyber attack. Wow, that means what? That means we are almost facing three attacks in a minute. So it is going to be very, very different altogether. And look at the immense amount of career opportunities. I think that should give you a very good insight on what kinds of career opportunities do cyber law and cyber security bring in. Because every 14 seconds there's an attack, and then there's definitely going to be the requirement of a cyber law and cyber security professional to redress and bring back the particular organization to normalcy, and then be cyber resilient. I think that is one of the key factors that I thought of sharing with you. Not just that, earlier when I was looking at a report from a very big organization, they've estimated that the cost of cybercrime globally is going to be 6 trillion US dollars by the end of 2020. And I can assure you that those are just conservative figures. Actuals may be far more, but huge. Why I thought of just bringing in that aspect is, given the kind of nature that everyone is making use of the online environment, I think it's going to be a very, very enormous opportunity for people who are actually trying to look at the career option today in the light of cyber law and cyber security. And not just that, I can tell you two things. First thing, with now being available online, you have a lot of business verticals that have now started to do their business online, whether it's the regular brick and mortar businesses, or whether it's the healthcare companies or the doctors who are now trying to make use of the online environment, or whether it's the regular kinds of online service providers, whether it's e-commerce or any food delivery companies like your Swiggy's and Zomatos, or any kinds of online shopping portals like Amazon, Flipkart, Myntra, Jabong, and the like. A lot of immense amount of potential opportunities are there in the line of cyber law and cyber security. And as we go forward, everybody, I can tell you that is today making use of a smartphone. and I'm sure that they are today making use of social media and also the over the top applications like WhatsApp. So that being so, that can give you a clear illustrative picture on the kinds of career opportunities. Before we get forward, I thought of just instilling this in your mind. And not just that, now there are going to be opening up new doors for cybersecurity and cyber law, because given the present kind of situation, I think the government also has started to realize that the focal trust has to be laid on cyber security. And then earlier, it was only the lip service that could be paid with regard to cyber security. But now, nonetheless, that the government has started to understand the importance, and a lot of different kinds of programs have been organized all across the globe and all across the country with regard to bringing about certain kind of awareness in terms of cyber laws and cyber security. And these become your lifelong companions, shall I say, during this period of pandemic. So I thought of just bringing forth these things in your mind before I get going. But however, I just would like to tell you that there are immense amounts of career opportunities as we discussed today. And then it could be bringing in a variety of distinctive areas of professional expertise that you could actually engage in as a cyber lawyer and as also as a cyber security professional. Could you please go to the next
Thank you,
slide?
Sushant, for setting the context for the today's session. And it is wonderful to have you, and the kind of depth in this particular zone you have. It's just amazing. So we go forward with our session today. Sushant, all to you.
Thank you so much. It's a fascinating journey and space, shall I say. There are immense amounts of job roles when I talk of cybersecurity. You could get into cybersecurity professional courses as a security administrator, which is meaning in case you're very much interested in figuring out the various kinds of security aspects. That means you're very good at security, then you could be a good security admin. If you're very good in building products, if you're very good in coding and things like that, you could also become a cyber security architect, where you could architect and design cyber security programs and applications for various companies. You could also turn out to be a security analyst, where you try to analyze the different kinds of security measures and also bring forth the different kinds of cyber security measures that, as an organization, as an individual, or as an entity, what you need to do. Not just that, you could also start getting into testing, which is one of the very different areas, I can say, because people now can also penetrate into the networks. You have something called network penetration testing, where you actually try to test a network for vulnerabilities. You find out how strong is the network, whether there are any loopholes, vulnerabilities, threats, or security lapses. You try to analyze them. And then also companies have also started to bring forth exclusive cyber security wings in their companies, wherein you could be appointed in the information security domain. You could also, as you go forward, become a chief information security officer. Has also a lot of companies, in case you're wanting to get yourself as a freelance cybersecurity consultant, a lot of companies also now are opening up their doors for cybersecurity consultants. I think these are some job roles that have got extensively popular with regard to cybersecurity, more specifically, shall I say, during this period of pandemic, because cybersecurity is now, shall I say, the India's new digital story as far as this is concerned. So I'm of the firm opinion that in case you're interested towards getting into cybersecurity as a career, these are some options that you could avail.
Sushant, I would like to know the government opportunities that exist. I think it's a new domain in the government jobs.
Yes, definitely, it's a new domain in the government sector as well, because now under the Digital India project, I think a lot of work is happening across. And I can also tell you that India has also started something called India's Cybercrime Center, has also a lot of Center for Cyber Security, has labs have been started across various states in association with organizations like DSCI, which is called the Data Security Council of India. An immense amount of job opportunities have been created because of the present situation that everybody is turning out to be going into the digital format. Not just that, I can also tell you that There is also a specific department constituted in some state governments. For example, when you look at the state government of Telangana, they have actually started a new wing called Emerging Technologies, where they've started to take cybersecurity as one of the key parameters in terms of the cutting edge technologies like IoT, artificial intelligence, and Internet of Things, as also big data and the like. So a lot of potential opportunities have been created even by the government in this regard. And not just that, the government has specifically started to give more and more funding to cybersecurity startups. So that being so, if you get some kind of an idea, let's say that you're more interested in coding and you wish to bring forth a lot of cybersecurity programs on your own, and you think that you can create a lot of cybersecurity products individually or as a group of friends or as a group of peer people, I think it's time to wake up, because the government is giving lots of financial support and is encouraging lots of cybersecurity startups. A lot of hackathons happening across the country with regard to cybersecurity. And when you looked at the recent one that the government has put in, a lot of bug bounty programs also have been launched by various applications, including Facebook and over-the-top applications like WhatsApp and things like that. So if you find out any loophole in their security system, you're offered a payment, as also you're taken into the job. So that being so, lots of these collaborative ideas are happening across these domains. So government, as also the private players, are now increasingly opening up their windows for cybersecurity as a good career option. I can tell you that cybersecurity primarily brings forth a lot of issues. One thing you could look at is information security. If you think you're very good at networking, you're very good at cryptography, then I would suggest you can probably take information security as one of the core areas. Cybersecurity and information security are often, I can say, used in a synonymous way. But I can tell you that cybersecurity is a larger domain. Information security is a very specific domain. And not just that, if you're very good in configuring firewalls, routers, and then you're very much interested towards network engineering, network security also could be one of the areas that you could look at. And in case you're very much interested towards getting into the core scripting and coding, I think there are lots of these languages that you could look at. When you look at it, there are so many languages that you could actually get yourself on the hands, whether it's Python, Oracle, Java, Perl, on C++, and things like that. There's also one more beautiful tool that is used, which is called Nmap. So Nmap. You can also do a lot of research on that. It's a wonderful tool which is used for cybersecurity purposes and also for penetrating into networks. This is also one more very good area that you could look at. And in case you want to get into something like audit, yes, cybersecurity also gives you that wonderful option of getting into audit. You could get into a company as an internal auditor. You could get into the company as a risk management professional, risk assessment professional. You could get into the audit department. You could do cybersecurity audits. We have ISO 27001, which is exclusively relating to the cybersecurity audit. Lots of organizations prefer doing this because it's an internationally acceptable standard between two countries. Specifically, when a client has some kinds of business with an entity outside the country, they would definitely be looking at 27001. I think that also is one more good career option. Not just that, apart from this, there are also a variety of other things also that cybersecurity brings in. You could also become an expert into the incident response and management. You could become somebody as a something into systems admin, where you could actually do something relating to disaster recovery management, disaster recovery planning, as also cyber security incident management and things like that. So these are the different dimensions of cyber security as a discipline. So there are a variety of other options also, but primarily, to put it in a nutshell, I thought I would just summarize them into these areas. Now, when you go a bit more further into the advanced level of cybersecurity, there are a lot of courses that are available to you internationally. You can actually make use of these courses, whether depending on the kind of domain that you opt for. See, the moment you're looking out to be somebody into the risk management, then I would recommend that you actually take up something relating to the last one, that is called CRISC, which is Certified Program in Risk and Information Systems Control. If you're very good at managing the securities and you want to get into the information systems, then I would recommend you to do CISSP. That's a wonderful option. If you're actually looking at doing something relating to audit, CISA would be one of the best options. If you're interested to get into the ethical hacking, I think CEH is also one of the good options that you could look at, which is called Certified Ethical Hacker. Like I said, of course, these are all international certifications. They're issued by a council called EC Council. And if you want to get into the information security management system, this is which is called ISMS, you could also look at CISM. Not just that, lots of these potential new technologies are opening up different domains for cybersecurity professionals. For example, you could look at getting yourself as a cloud security professional. Cloud cybersecurity is also one of the hot topics that's moving across the industry today. Why? Because everybody, no matter what, the moment you're using Gmail, I can tell you that all of us are on the cloud. No matter whether you're a professional or a student or a homemaker or anybody, the moment we are all making use of Gmail, I think we are quickly making use of cloud computing also, and we need to be alive to that fact. Not just that, the moment we are making use of any kinds of data related activities, that means you're storing data, you're putting up data in the electronic format. The moment you're using your Android phone, all your backup is stored onto a cloud account. And if you're making use of an iPhone or an iPad, I think all of them is all the data that is there on your device, it's stored on your iCloud. So that's the way in which, with or without our knowledge, we are part of these cutting edge technologies. But what we'll have to quickly realize is, where do I want to put my hand? Do I want to go into research? Do I want to go into programming? Do I want to go into the management perspective? Or whether I want to get into the audit, or whether I want to go into the technical aspects. I would also tell you that CDAC, which is Center Development for Advanced Computing, has also come up with certain PG programs in information security. I can tell you that there are wonderful programs because I'd been a guest faculty for CDAC a couple of years back, and I can tell you that they have promising material, and then it could be one of the very good career option. I can tell you so many of my students who are very successful, who just did their BTech from normal colleges and did their MCAs and BCAs from normal colleges. But however, now they're top cybersecurity professionals who are working in huge companies, drawing huge salaries. So I can tell you that CDAC has put in a beautiful platform for cybersecurity courses. So this is one more thing that I thought of sharing with you. Now, when we look at the EC Council's career options, a variety of career options are available with you. See, you can get in yourself into doing any of the masters in security sciences. You can become a licensed penetration tester. You can become an EC Council certified security analyst, where you try to analyze the securities of the various technologies. You try to build more and more strategies by analyzing them. You can get into the computer hacking and forensic investigation program, where you are on the cyber forensics and investigation perspective. You could be the advisor to the police. You could join the cybercrime department. There are also special kinds of organizations like Data Security Council, NASCOM, and big companies like ENY, PwC, and also TCS and KPMG. These are the four pioneer companies that are doing a lot in terms of cyber forensics and what do you say, cyber forensic investigation. They have distinctive departments constituted in their companies, and then they do a lot of these things for clients across the globe. So I think that's a wonderful opportunity that you could look at. And to start with, I can tell you, please identify your area, that what you actually want to look at, and then do your career path accordingly. Because I would urge you to identify which is the area that you are actually interested. So that what will happen is that if you are able to understand the area that you are actually looking for, I think it's very easy to build a career path therein, because you can choose the right amount of programs and start doing any of your graduation programs, and simultaneously you can build a career path in these areas. It's a very shall I say fascinating space, and which each passing day, month and year, cybersecurity is going to be more and more interesting paradigm. And it is going to be a worldwide jungle, shall I say, when it comes to cybersecurity. And now it's not just the private sectors, but cybersecurity is also spilling towards the government sectors. So that's also going to give you a lot of good option. I think when you start making use of these courses and the time available to you in doing these courses, joining the various communities that are there on Facebook, and also different forums across the internet, like you have the Club Hack, you have the ISRA, Information Security Research Association, and then you have a lot of organizations like these, what do you say, the private players also have a lot of these cyber security groups on Facebook. You could actually look into that and then be one of them. It's a very interesting gamut, shall I say. And when you get into the consulting part of cybersecurity, there are immense amount of opportunities. So let's say that you become a freelance cybersecurity consultant. Yes, you have a variety of career options. You can get into the security assessment and testing. You can get into the development and then testing and security. You can get into the security assessment and testing. You can identify and do access management. You can do a variety of other activities. Basically, you can also get into the security engineering, asset security, and things like that. These one thing that I've realized in this lockdown is that it's not just the data that has been that is to be secured, but the devices also need to be secured adequately. Why? Because today I can tell you that good, bad, or worst, there are lots of device attacks that are taking place. The device attacks are ranging from a variety of activities, whether it's ransomware, fearware, or any other kinds of cyber attacks. But I can tell you that cybersecurity does not only comprise of securing the data, having best practices for data protection, but also physically protecting the data is also very adequately important. So you should have proper policies and frameworks, and also ensure that there are proper policies with regard to each and every device, like server policies, device policies, and IT infrastructure policies, and the like. So this is also receiving a lot of center stage attention during this period of pandemic, specifically with a lot of companies making their way to work from home. And now with work from home being the new normal, and then getting extended up to 31st of December, I think it shows that there's a lot of golden rush towards cyber law and cyber security as a career. Next slide, please. So I can tell you that graduation would be one of the prime areas if you want to look at targeting any of the big exams. So the first step I can tell you is join a forum. And second step I can tell you is first step I can tell you is that identify your interest. As a second step, you please look at the domain specifically. And then third step, start doing a graduation program depending on the area that you want. And fourth, you can start getting into any of these programs. You can get into the certified secured computer user program. You can then get into certified ethical hacking program, and EC Council certified security analyst, and of course, last being certified information security professional. So I can tell you that these are just leapfrogging steps, and what really has to be understood is that this is going to be growing on a rapid pace, and we cannot just say that I've completed learning information or cybersecurity. So it's a constantly learning paradigm. So if you're in, please identify your interest and then start working in that direction, because there are lots of opportunities that you can make use of during this COVID period, because free on online programs are enormously going to give you good insight. And if you're confused as to what is the area that you want to look at, I would urge you, please do some search and due diligence about what are these domains. If you want to do something on the coding aspect, please look at what has to be the requisite qualifications that you have to. If you want to get into the audit, yes, you have also lead audit auditors options that are available to you. You have risk assessment, you have risk management systems, you have systems security. A lot of things are happening across, and I would urge you that please do attend a lot of webinars that are happening across on a daily basis on cyber security. Please attend any one of them to get some knowledge on which is the exact area that you are actually intending to focus. So this is something I thought of sharing across with regard to cyber security, because like I told you, it's going to be a new wave altogether, and more specifically with the increased cyber security breaches that are happening on a daily basis. I think, and there's an enough potential that cyber security professionals will have on their table, because unlike the other areas which are now getting themselves on the stagnancy mode, I think this is one thing that you have to constantly keep looking at. and not just looking at it, but keep updating yourself on a constant basis, because these are some technologies and some courses that require you to constantly stay up to date and alive to the emerging technologies and trends. So keep looking at different articles, see what are the key trends of cybersecurities that are happening across in different domains, and then start focusing on those also, so as to ensure that you actually are on the right path and are staying updated. So this is what I thought of sharing with you from cybersecurity perspective. And
Shant,
now I would just
uh,
please go ahead.
before we go to cyber law, I would like to ask you one thing. Uh, Someone who's looking to venture out into cyber security as a career, uh, if it's from science side, yes, if they're doing BTech or BSc in computer science, they can pursue it. Even the students from humanities and commerce, those who pursue BCA, they can also for the career in the cyber security.
Yes, definitely. It all depends on three things. It all depends on your interest, your passion, and the area that you're looking at. See, cybersecurity not always has something relating to technology and technology backgrounds. You could also look at various other career options also, like I mentioned. You can look at risk assessment, you can look at risk management, you can look at audit, you can look at getting into some kinds of analysis. You can get into all these. See, there are immense amount of opportunities. You can get into the incident response management. You can get into cyber resilience. There are a variety of options that are available to you, which do not require any of the computer backgrounds. But if you want to have a computer background, if you're interested towards getting into the architectural aspect, or building of the applications aspects, technical aspects, testing aspects, then I would definitely urge you that no matter what, you don't require to be a BTech or an MCA for that. Anybody who's interested could actually try to do a course, because
If I understand you what you're saying, if I am a BCom student or I am doing a BA in some other subject, and I have a passion to pursue, I want to get into risk management or auditing, so you mean that these are option open for me?
yes, definitely. 100% they're open for you, because if you're coming from the commerce stream, I think you're pretty much conversant with some basic principles of accounting, and with some basic principles of audit and things like that. Because commerce is going to definitely add a value when you talk about doing risk management and risk audit. So this is going to be a wonderful option if you're looking at cyber security risk management, or getting into information security lead audit could be wonderful options for BCom professionals or
Wow,
become
uh,
enthusiasts.
that's
And not
wonderful.
and not just that, if you're a management student also, see, if you're doing your BPM, BPA and things like that, you could also look at risk management, because risk management is also something that you obviously can take an advantage getting a management degree, because you have some understanding on management side. You know how things are. And a lot of these management courses bring in the subject called disaster management as the part of their course curriculum. So just analyze that if you're able to understand disaster management, cyber risk management is almost going to be very easy. Why? Because the moment you understand how to manage a disaster, what kinds of recovery procedures that you have to have from managerial perspective, I think cyber security, cyber risk management, cyber resilience management can be wonderful career options for management professionals. People who are into BBA, BBM, MBA, and things like that. This could be one of the very good options, cyber risk management. And a lot of insurance providers also are looking at these kinds of professionals today, because the insurance companies have realized that data is the new turmoil, and then they have started providing cyber insurance and data insurance for companies. So that being so, it is going to be immense amount of advantage if you can get into cyber risk management, because you can join these organizations and get yourself specifically aligned into this cyber insurance per se. That could be one of the very good career options that you can look at. And more specifically, I can tell you that this cyber insurance has started to grow, and it's growing at a very good pace. Now, earlier, when you look at pre lockdown and post, what do you say? I mean, I can tell you this phase of lockdown, a lot of insurance companies have started to give more and more coverage, and more increased focus is starting to emerge in the industry also on cyber insurance. because there are large number of data and cybersecurity breaches that companies are facing. So this could be a wonderful career opportunity if you want to get into the risk management perspective. If you're looking at somewhere around BBM, BBA, and MBA, if you're looking at management perspective, and BCom, of course, you have the audit. You can go in for that. That's a wonderful option. Now, also advanced standards have been made. You can also look at, if you want to stay updated towards the security standards, you can look at something called NIST, which is called National Institute of Standards and Technology. Now, NIST actually brings in a lot of different standards of cybersecurity with different cutting edge technologies. So that is one area that you could increasingly look at. And for BCAs and MCAs also, this is a wonderful career opportunities apart from BTech. And BSc Physics, IT, Mathematics. You could also now get into cryptography, because cryptography is going to bring in a variety of different cyber security challenges. Why? Because blockchain is now turning out to be one of the most emerging technologies in addition to AI, artificial intelligence. And I can tell you that by and large, blockchain makes use of cryptography. So if you're very good at cryptography, I think blockchain would be of immense value to you. And blockchain security and blockchain cryptography can be one of the very good career options that you could actually make use of in case you are pursuing BSc Physics, Mathematics, and IT. So that's a wonderful career option that I would suggest.
Thank you so much, Shushan, for giving this insight, because so many students had. I think I also had, cyber security. You need to have some background of technology, BCA, or BTech, BSc Computer Science. It's so wonderful to get an insight that even if you're in commerce background and you want to pursue, if you're doing a disaster management, you can still pursue your career in cybersecurity, and it throws such enormous opportunity to each and every one of us. Only thing, as you have rightly mentioned, we should understand, our strengths, our capabilities, and then play on our strength.
That's
And
absolutely
definitely,
the one that we have to look at.
if I tell the audience that there was recently a study was done by PwC, Pricewaterhouse Corporation India, and the Data Security Council of India, and it
DSCI.
says the Indian market is going to grow. At present, it is USD 1.97 billion, and it is going to grow by 2022 USD 3.5 billion. And this is, the growth rate is nearly 1.5 times the global growth rate. So India has tremendous opportunities for persons who want to enter into this career. And with this, I like to, go to the step further on cyber law. That's another field with so many cyber attacks, so many cyber crimes, and so many things happening. Definitely, we need something to protect. But yes, in case it happens, then we need cyber law. Cyber law. Definitely, Sushant, I would like you to please set the context for cyber law now here, and then we
Sure.
can move forward to cyber law, the career path in detail.
Sure. Now, before I get to something on cyber law, I want to primarily tell you two things. That first thing is, of course, unlike the cyber security, cyber law is unfortunately not going to open up its doors for non-legal professionals. It's unfortunately going to be very restricted only to legal professionals. So I can tell you that only in case you're looking at pursuing your law as your career option, you could look at cyber law, because of course, being aware of cyber law is different, and getting into the career path of cyber law is entirely different. That being so, all of us need to be aware of cyber law, because the moment we're using a computer, mobile phone, and internet, obviously we'll have to be knowing the basic fundamentals of cyber law. That's on the generic front. But on the career front, I would like to tell you that unless you do your 5 years LLB or 3 years LLB program, you would not be eligible to get into the cyber law as a career option. Why? Because primarily anything that involves law, medicine, and things like that have to be specifically based on the preliminary qualification of their bachelor's. So likewise, if you want to get into your cyber law as a career option, you would have to be first qualified as a lawyer. So first requisite should be getting yourself an LLB degree. So that's a fundamental requirement. But of course, now I can tell you that if you're one of those aspirants that you're looking at doing something in the legal front, it's a wonderful option, because now you have two kinds of programs: 5-year law and 3-year law. 5-year will be after your +2. You can get into any of the law schools by taking an entrance exam. You have just like you have national what do you say, IITs in the engineering, you have something called national law universities in the legal front. So you can get into them. You have an exam called CLAT. You could typically take yourself into this CLAT exam, and then how you fare will be able to give you some kind of understanding to get into this law school. But more than all of these, I would like to tell you two things. First thing, as a career in cyber law, LLB is only going to be a prerequisite, or one of the base fundamental qualification. So apart from that, I would suggest you to start doing a career path in cyber law right from your first year onwards, because none of the law schools in India currently give you the option of having cyber law as a distinctive subject in your law, unless it is now slowly being looked into by a couple of law schools, and it's most of the times an elective paper. And most of the times, since this is a very new discipline, they either give you a 1-day session, or they give you some material and ask you to prepare and then write up the exam. But unfortunately, the practicality is not very well exposed to in any law school in the country. That's the ill faith, I can tell you. That's the most unfortunate thing, because it's one of the very very growing fields of law, unlike the traditional laws. Because traditional laws, at some point of time, there is a stagnation. But I can tell you that cyber law is a very fascinating world, because it's completely a technology dependent law. So I'm sure that you all agree that technology never ends. It keeps on increasing on a daily basis, hourly basis also. So likewise, I can tell you that yes, cyber law also is going to bring in a variety of different cyber legal challenges as far as technologies are concerned, because it is a very fascinating journey, and it has immense scope. Because the moment computer, laptop, computer, mobile phone, and internet are used, cyber law is applicable. So just look at the potential of cyber law. Unlike the other laws, when you look at other laws like civil, criminal, they are very specific only to one domain. When you look at civil, 99% is only going to be properties. When you look at criminal, it's only going to be criminal offenses. When you look at family law, it's only going to be domestic disputes. Look at tax law, it's only going to be tax laws, taxation, breach of tax and tax evasions and things like that. But this is a mixture of all laws with an E added. So there's going to be tax, there's going to be civil, there's going to be criminal, there's going to be family, there's going to be everything, because fundamentally everything revolves around technology. And now with electronic courts and lot of courts making use of video conferencing, I think I can tell you that the cyber law is going to be enormous. And a lot of artificial intelligence law is also in the loop line, and a lot of work is happening in this domain. And I can tell you that if you're getting into cyber law, there are a lot of career options that you could make use of. But fundamentally, I can tell you that it's a very very interesting gamut. And in case you want to look at various careers, various courses, I can tell you one of the best institutes that I've come across in my career is Asian School of Cyber Laws. And I've highlighted a few programs that they have. Basically, I don't want to endorse anybody, but I can tell you, I mean, I as a student, I've started my career path in cyber law in my first year itself. And those days, Asian School was the only one which was doing some kinds of things on cyber law. And I can tell you that their programs are completely different and out of the box. Why? Because most of the times there are very huge institutions also. No matter, don't want to name them, such high institutions, they charge a lot of money. But I can tell you as a recruiter, because I do a lot of recruits from law schools, I can tell you I'm very disappointed when I look at these programs. Why? Because practicality is bare minimum. It's only mostly focusing on the academic aspects. And in this domain, academic aspects alone will not fetch you anything. It's going to be a sticky wicket. So the question that you have to put in your mind is, I need to also have practical implementation of this subject. So I would urge you that you tried looking at the certificate in cybercrime and cyber law. It's a basic course available. It's about 2,500 plus GST. And I can tell you, all these exams are open book systems. That means you can refer the internet, you can refer the material is excellent, that you can basically make use of the material selfly, and then you will be able to really understand what is happening basically. So that is one of the good areas that I would recommend apart from this. So in order to basically go through the concepts of cyber law, and I can tell you, cyber law as a discipline has a tremendous amount of opportunities. You could get into a company, you could start becoming their advisor, and you could also do lots of advice on startups, because startups are now turning their um, backs towards lawyers. And specifically, I can tell you that the startup ecosystem in India is tremendous, thanks to the Startup India, Stand Up India programs and other initiatives. And our state, and also the state of Telangana, is been giving a variety of different opportunities for startups. We had the T Hub, as also T Hub has also started another venture called V Hub, and a lot of initiatives are happening across with regard to the college students. College students are who are in the third year and fourth year of their BTechs are now trying to come up with startups, and they're looking out for legal advice, and they're looking towards lots of guidance on the legalities. So I'll tell you, one of the other good career options that you can look at is advising startups. So that's also going to be one of the very good areas, because in law there's a saying, there's an old dictum that unless you have a background, you will not be able to succeed. I can tell you that that's only going to go good in terms of courts and litigations and things like that. But in this domain, you don't require anybody's background, or you don't require a godfather for that matter. If you are able to basically acquire adequate skill sets and good amount of knowledge, I think it's completely your passion, your way, and you can create wonders. I can tell you practically, you don't require even technical expertise. The only mantra in cyber law is have an understanding on technology and analyze it from a legal perspective. If these two parameters you can keep in mind, I can tell you that it's going to be a very fascinating and enjoyable journey. Though that it's a lot of people think it's a technical aspect, and then it's completely a different matter altogether. I think that orientation has to open up, and then people have to really understand that it's much ahead of the present legal curve, and your own master, I feel. But it's going to shake up the entire world, and specifically when I talk of cyber law in India. And you can also try looking at these courses which have been formulated by the Kerala Cyber Dome, like what I was sharing in the last two sessions. So I just thought of just putting forth to you these three. There are, of course, there are variety of courses, but these three are something I thought of just sharing with you. There's a program on cyber law, information systems, as also cyber piracy. So I would urge you that you please put in your hands into this, start exploring this, and see whether you're able to really understand and really identify which is the one that is suitable for you. So the moment you think it's suitable, I think it's wonderful opportunity. And you could join even as a cyber law consultant to companies. You could also join a law firm. You could also start up independent practice. There are a bunch of opportunities. But before I talk much about that, cyber law and cyber security both go hand in glove. So you cannot have one without the other. So basically, if you're looking at cyber law, cyber security understanding is also required. Likewise, if you're trying to do a career path in cyber security, cyber law knowledge is also required, only to an extent that you know what is right, what is wrong. And I can also tell you that the government has started one very good initiative called Cyber Siksha program for women, specifically skill development program. I think you could also try looking at this option, basically, which is one of the very good career options I can tell you. So I would urge you that in case you're looking at cyber security as a good pathway, I think you can try registering for this particular program. And it is going to be putting you on a variety of different notes altogether. And they would also be giving you some industry oriented training and placement assistance. I think it's what matters end of the day is that how effectively are you able to do what you learned. So that's going to be one of the very good things that you have to look in. So on the top of the pyramid lies two things: your passion and the interest, and as also doing some practical work. I think so long as you're able to have these things, I can tell you that it's a different ball game altogether, and you have already painted your a career path in the right direction. So I think that's all that I want to tell you. I don't want to overload you with too much of information, but I can only tell you that these are going to be constantly the new paradigms, and it's going to be a different matter altogether with with people endlessly using the online domain. I think it's not just that, but I can tell you that even India has got something called Indian Cyber Army. So we could also look at something over there. So the trend is a different matter altogether. Now, India's digital story revolves around cyber law and cyber security. And not just that, cyber security law is also now opening up new debates and discussions because cyber security, like I told you, it's not only a technical domain, it also involves the knowledge of cyber law. So, cyber security law is a new facet of the present times. I think a lot of work is happening. A lot of countries also have started launching and their dedicated cyber security laws. But in India, I can tell you that we are still only in the initial leapfrogging steps. I think a lot of work has to happen in this direction. And when I tell you that cyber law and cyber security are good career options, if today you were to ask me that if I were to write a book on the career path of cyber law and cyber security, and the book were to consist of 100 pages, I can only tell you that this evening we have only written 8 or 9 pages. There's more than 90 odd pages that is to be written as we go forward. So that is the kind of enormous scope that these two subjects bring in. I think on the internet highway, it is the digital DNA. I can only conclude by saying that. And if you're having any specific questions, I'll be more than happy to address it. And thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity. It's pleasure talking to you this evening.
As you have mentioned, cyber law is a much wider thing. I do agree. It is more on the it is against the person. When it is person, it takes the form of cyber stalking, loss of privacy, transmission of obscene material, harassment with the computer. When it is for the property, it is unauthorized computer trespassing, transmission of harmful programs on your website, siphoning of funds from financial institutions, stealing secrets, information, data, and copyright. And when it comes to the government, it is hacking of government website, cyber extortion, cyber terrorism, as Sunanda was mentioning, computer viruses. So I like to understand one thing, this very important aspect like patent and copyrights. So is there any specific course for this also, or
Yes,
cyber
definitely.
law includes all this?
No, cyber law will include only a bare portion of this, but this forms under the part of intellectual property. So we have different forms of intellectual property, of which trademark, copyright, patents, trade secrets, and semiconductor and integrated circuits are the 5 forms of intellectual property protection. So I can tell you that intellectual property on the cyberspace is a very interesting gamut because when you look at the content issues that are happening across, whether it's online piracy, whether it's uploading of photographs or copying someone's article, plagiarism, and all these things, or it's when you're actually trying to violate somebody's copyright by stealing material, photographs, music, videos, and things like that. It's a different game altogether. Cyber law and IPR will be a fantastic combination as far as the career options are concerned. And not just that, I can tell you one more thing. Cyber law does not mean only cyber crimes. That lots of career opportunities are there even in terms of corporate perspective, because companies would be looking at forming out different agreements, policies, legal compliances, data protection, privacy aspects, and coming up with different kinds of IT related agreements. All of these would be majorly a part of it. And apart from this, e-contracts also is one of the fascinating area that companies are looking out. So lots of companies are now making use of the online domain for executing contracts. And as a cyber lawyer, you would be able to draft out an e-contract much better than a non-cyber lawyer or non-IT lawyer, because you
But with
understand the kind of technology and implications.
with that, Sushant, one question comes to me. The lot of things are happening in the form of e-contracts, e-documents that is being done, with Digital India movement and all the movement that everybody is moving through digitally rather than having a paper thing, right? So
Correct.
in such a situation, okay, understanding a cyber law, setting up the contract and all, but cyber security, that these contract are also safe. So parallelly, is it an some course which is there for cyber security guy to do some certification, short certification in cyber law, or
Definitely. See, they can take
cyber
up these
security
basic.
guy or cyber law guy doing some short course to understand the risk involved or something like that?
Definitely, I'd say that should be the need of the hour, because no, when you look at any cyber security training program, they would have one paper on cyber law, and likewise when you look at any cyber security cyber law courses, definitely cyber security will be one of the basic facts. But I can tell you that you can try to take up the certification program that I mentioned to you from Asian School of Cyber Laws, because that, as a normal common person, that would be able to give you some basic understanding on cyber law. And likewise on cyber security also, they have a program. You can try to do that if you're a lawyer, because that is from a legal perspective. So I can tell you that this could be one of the very good areas that you can focus on. Of course, there's a lot of other things that are happening across, whether, because now I can tell you that anybody, you look at any domain, a cyber lawyer is needed, because everybody is now turning to be e-commerce, whether it's e-commerce, whether it is the products, softwares, mobile applications, websites, or anything that you take today. Even things like this, now we are using a video conferencing tool like Zoom. Now just see, if I was a company who was organizing this meeting, it's mandate. Even as a forum, it is mandated that I have a proper policy in place, exchange it with my speaker and audience, so that your exposure in case of any unauthorized event is reduced to the bare minimum. Otherwise, what happens is any intruder coming in between, any disturbance that is happening that is likely to affect my privacy or my data, you will also be booked as a co-accused because you have failed to exercise due diligence. I can tell you that this is the kind of potential that cyber law has, not otherwise. But likewise, cyber security also, because the moment you are onto this platform, you should be able to identify that there are some cyber security settings that every video conferencing platform has, and you must be able to know that these have to be exercised. These are the basic things that I have to keep in mind when I'm launching an online meeting. I think in this context, I would like to tell you that both cyber law and cyber security will be the most important aspects, and they have to be spoken of in a much larger parameter, and they're going to be one of the most key big trends, specifically as time passes by.
That's wonderful. Sushant, you had mentioned, for cyber security, there are so many international certification, right? But
Yes.
when it comes to cyber law, is it limiting your career just to India, or
Cyber
is there some?
security, see, there are two options here. We cannot practice in other countries because the other countries have their own legal system. Basically, what you can do is you can work on the documentation perspective, advisory perspective, compliance perspective on international laws as well. The same Asian School has got one more program on international cyber laws also, that will be able to give you a holistic picture on the different kinds of cyber laws happening across US, UK, and things like that. And now one more area I can tell you is data protection law. Data protection law is now going to open up a lot of career opportunities. Specifically, now GDPR, which is the European Union data protection law, has shaken the entire community. And likewise, I can tell you, India also is now in the pipeline of an exclusive data protection law, which is called the Personal Data Protection Bill. And per se, if it gets passed, it is going to be enormous for law students and aspiring legal professionals, because they can turn themselves into data protection officers, which is one of the key essentials for every company that is basically going to handle information or data in the electronic form. So every company would have to have a data protection officer in place, and typically the one who knows about the rules and regulations, and who knows what are the kinds of obligations and compliance parameters that companies need to have in a place as far as this is concerned. So I think these are the two things that we can look at. Cybersecurity has an international certifications, but those certifications are not something that you can take granted from the face value of it. You need to constantly update yourself, and also the certificates expire So you need to keep renewing them and at a regular interval, maybe 3 years, 2 years. It all depends. The certificate is not given to you like a degree. So it's only
Okay.
given to you for a limited amount of time, after which the certificate expires and you'll have to renew it by writing another exam. So thereby they're promulgating you to actually try to be updated. So that's, in a way, I can tell you, it's a good phase. Though a lot of people argue in saying that they're trying to make some money on it, but I can tell you that it's a way that they've used to leverage people to stay updated on the latest technologies.
I think that's right, because the way the technology is advancing, you cannot be, holding that, okay, I did on this particular thing only. The things are advancing, so you have to also advance. And when we talk about, 21st century, you have to be a lifelong learner now. It's gone are the days when you have done some studies and your career is set. If you want to sustain in coming decades, you have to be a lifelong learner.
Definitely. And a lot of times, what happens is when I take sessions like this, people ask me, why are you please encouraging criminals and cyber security breaches? Why do you talk negative? But I can only conclude, if anybody has such issues, I can only tell them one straight thing, that as long as lions do not have their historians, it's only going to be the stories of the glorying hunters which would be spoken of. So that's why, since cyber law and cyber security are not meeting up to that requirement of criminals, that is the only reason why these hard talks are happening.
Definitely, we can't keep your eyes closed. If I just give certain for the all the participants and the viewers that security people and the cyber law people are needed by every country as a government also. And the people, the kind of attack that has been happening, just to quote you about the world, like China has a great firewall so that it restricts the information. Any information from the world is filtered, that it's fit for the Chinese government, what the Chinese government want to show to their citizens. And if you think about any country which is the big, where maximum hackers are there, Brazil is on the top. So it is the biggest airport for hackers, it is said. And
Brazil is actually supposed to be considered as a mother of hackers. And I can tell you the average age of hackers are between 11 and 13, as far as
my
I'm
God,
concerned. So we can just think what kind of penetration is happening across them. But
definitely.
fundamentally, I can tell you that, see, these guys do not have any understanding whether it's good, bad, or worst, but they're doing some kind of an activity thinking that everything is going in a cool and composed manner. But until and unless they've been misutilized, I think internationally there is a distinction for hackers and crackers, but Indian law does not have anything like that. So that's why when you do CEH, it's only internationally certified. It's not certified by any Indian authority. That's why EC Council is a global body, and that enables these kinds of certifications. And since it's an international body, therefore the situations are entirely different.
Right. And even if we talk about the most dangerous country for the Netzian, Iran comes on the top. And for this reason, they have a cyber police unit
Correct.
together.
Even we do have a cyber police unit in every state. But what is happening is that, see, people are not staying updated. One of the very negative areas that is happening here is lack of awareness. That is why the cybercrime convictions also, though it's 20 years since the law has come up, the conviction has not touched three-digit yet, because of the lack of sensitization among the enforcement as also the judiciary. So this is why the problem is happening in this domain, I feel. So lots of things are happening. Of course, I do understand that a lot of these judicial enforcement authorities are doing programs, but they're doing programs once in a while. But if they do it at frequent intervals, I think that will be able to bridge this gap and then bring forth some kinds of convictions. Because unless convictions are made and message of deterrence goes into the people, I think seriousness would not be there.
Right. So with that, we can, as we have already crossed the time, it's like clock is ticking. So I can only say it's like technology is like a double-edged sword. So it can,
Absolutely. It is just like a sword, because you can make use of it to either cut fruits or stab somebody. So it's as simple as that. The way in which you use it is going to matter. That's going to decide whether you're a criminal or a gentleman.
And definitely these two professions, cyber security and cyber law, they are the I would say protectors, those who ensure that technology is growing in a healthy way and is used in a most ethical way, and we all optimize from it. And yes, if anything goes wrong, we should be aware of our cyber laws and make use of our right. So with that, I'll conclude and I'll invite Sunanda. Please come and do the give vote of thanks.
Well, before I give the vote of thanks, first of all, Sushant, it was a wonderful session. In fact, people have started joining live when we were promoting on your slides. So I hope I'm not, violating any cyber thing when I've taken a
No.
screenshot of what. Well, we have a couple of questions. Sheetal Wadhwa, she asked, is this
Actually, can you
course?
make the questions fast because 6:30? I mean, I have another webinar that is coming up.
No, we have just three questions. I'll just ask you. One is the course that you mentioned. Uh, is it include in the cybersecurity? Includes cybersecurity? The one that you shared about the Siksha one that you have shown in the last slide.
The Siksha one basically talks about cyber security, and they might have some basic introduction about cyber law because
Okay,
they're based mostly on practical aspects.
perfect. And there is a question: CISA certification, CISA certification. Is it possible from home? This is one of the IT guy who is asking.
we, we need to specifically look at what kind of thing that they're looking at, because what happens is that preparation is different, exam is different. I'm not really sure what is the present situation, because somebody was telling me that some regulations have been changed due to this pandemic. So I'm not aware of the present pandemic situation, how things are. But I feel that maybe you might have to go physically and write. I'm not very sure about that. I need to really check on that.
Okay. And Aditi is asking, what are the attacks that occur on our devices? Are there any some security?
Devices, yes, there are lots of attacks. One of the most thing being ransomware, where your device could be locked and the contents could be encrypted by a third party, and you could receive a message saying your device is locked. Pay us this much amount in cryptocurrencies, but specifically bitcoins, will release the complete device. That could be one of the possible attacks that is happening. I think if you take an average, 8 out of 10 devices in the present lockdown are facing this ransomware attack. And not just that, there are also ransomware, apart from ransomware, spyware, malware attacks which are happening. And when you download applications specifically that are injuriously affecting your device, like Truecaller and other applications, there are also lots of other applications we download without looking at the permissions that we give. And not just the privacy, but the content is also getting itself at stake. So that is one of the key areas as far as devices are concerned. Spyware is there, though they're spying on everything that is there on your mobile phone. Malware, you don't know when your mobile phone could be shut off. And ransomware is one of the areas. And one of the key suggestions that I can give you is there are antivirus, anti-spamware, anti-malware tools for devices. Please go and download them. Keep updating them on a regular basis. And do not click on unnecessary links. Do not download unnecessary apps. And more specifically, there would sometimes be apps which tell you to compromise the security of your phone. Like they will ask you to enable download from untrusted sources. So I would recommend you not to do that. And more specifically, be very careful on not storing any kinds of passwords or anything on your phone, basically. And that's one
Brilliant.
more area that I can tell you, because if you're put to any ransomware attack or some things like that, the entire data would be wiped off by them. So be very careful on that. Do not click on any links on your devices. Do not download unnecessary applications. Be watchful. Even when you're downloading apps, please look at the Play Store. They have a rating saying verified or not. If they're verified, only make use of it. Otherwise, it's going to be a different ballgame altogether.
Perfect. We have another two questions. The one question is, of course, a student who
I
is
can take only
aspiring.
one because another 2
Okay,
minutes I
okay.
need to leave.
Perfect, no problem. I'll take one question only. Someone is aspiring to be a cybersecurity expert and he's a 12th plus student. What courses, obviously BTech he doesn't want to do. So what are the courses that the person can pursue?
You can look
Will
at doing
BCA
something on BCA and something on that line basically.
and
What is
can
the
you mention
exact domain?
PCM? These were the subject and looking at ethical hacking. But last time you mentioned ethical hacking is not legal, so I would use cyber security. Are you there?
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, I'm getting calls for the other webinar. I'm so
No
sorry.
problem.
I will take the questions later if you don't mind, because we
No
already
problem.
exceeded by 10 more minutes. So
No problem. Thank you so much for
no issues,
joining us.
no issues.
And it was
Yeah.
really lovely to have
Thank you
you.
so much.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Kavita, for moderating the complete session with the data that Brazil is the biggest cyber hub. And Sushant, if we have any questions, we will get back to
Please,
you
I'm
once
more
more.
than happy. I'm more than happy to take up any questions, online, offline, anything. I'm pretty much okay with it. No problem.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Sushant, for joining us.
Thank you.
And for all the audience who have joined us today, thank you so much. You might have seen that how cybersecurity is important and playing an important role. And for all of us who are using anything, any application without looking at the security aspect, this is a plain, clear guidelines for us then not to use that. With this, we conclude today's session of expert series. As I've said, it's a fifth session. We started with e-learning, we went to the humanities, commerce, then we went to ICT, and today with the cybersecurity. Next week, we are coming with the design careers. Followed by that, we will be coming with defense careers and, of course, sports science and other things. So stay tuned to us. And until then, please stay safe. Bye.
Bye. Thank you for being
Thank you.
here.
Okay. Thanks. Thanks a lot.